We're very pleased to have Congressman Ben McAdams join us on this morning's edition of Sunday Edition. And Ben, thank you so much for making the time available for us. And we were just chatting off the air. I really did not anticipate, there was nothing on my radar that would lead me to believe that we'd be having a good old conversation about nuclear testing once again. What's going on? How have we circled around after 3 decades now to talking about nuclear testing again?
You know, it really is shocking. The last test was in 1992. And, earlier this year, I started seeing reports about the administration exploring resumption of nuclear tests. And then the Senate we see in the Senate Appropriations Bill, a $10 million appropriation for nuclear weapons testing site preparation. And it seems like we're right back where we started. A Department of Defense official was just saying that that they can be ready to go with a nuclear test within 3 months. And, it is, here we are again. Utah has been through this. We still have people who are dying from cancer from the tests that were done in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even in the 90s. And now we find ourselves looking at the exact same thing again. And what we hear is our government is saying, trust us, it'll be safe this time. Well, you know what? We heard those words, trust us, it's safe, for 4 decades. And if you live in Utah, you probably know somebody, you probably know many people who have suffered the consequences of that testing with a cancer diagnosis or infertility or so many other things. And, enough is enough. I can't believe we are here again having this conversation, but I'm going to do everything I can to stop it.
I've talked to people who are of every stripe, Republicans, Democrats, independents, and so on, about this issue now over so many years. And I'm thinking almost without exception, they've said, with the computer modeling that we can do today, with what we know about the past nuclear tests, what we know about computer modeling, that there's really no reason, and somebody once said, unless we just want to get the bang for our buck, there's really no reason for nuclear testing. Has something dramatically changed that I'm unaware of?
I think we live in a dangerous world. So you see places like Russia, China, even North Korea talking about nuclear testing, and it seems like we just want to be keeping up with them. And, Doug, I'm all about national defense. It's a dangerous world we live in. But sure. Defense Department officials have certified time and again that our nuclear arsenal is safe, it's effective, and it is sufficient. We maintain that arsenal. There's no need to test new nuclear weapons. In fact, I think that, nobody has tested these more than the United States. And we in Utah know that very well. But where our attentions need to be focused is on nuclear non-proliferation treaties, that other people are not testing these weapons. I think we have a knowledge advantage. And let's put our efforts into making sure that nobody is testing these dangerous weapons that are really a threat to humanity. And our weapon, we have enough. We're secure, we're safe. The national security of the United States is not in danger. We need to put our efforts, as Ronald Reagan did, put our efforts into treaties that will make sure that nobody is testing and developing these weapons.
Other than North Korea, some rogue states that we might be concerned about, is anybody else operating right now? Again, they say never ask a question you don't know the answer to. I don't know the answer to this. Is anybody else on a regular nuclear testing program that is not considered a rogue state?
I think there are a lot of people who are talking about it, and a lot of rogue states. The science has advanced through so many countries around the world that there are a lot of people who probably could, a lot of countries that could test it if they wanted to. And so I worry that if the United States goes down this path again, who knows what rogue states, what other dictator states will also test nuclear weapons and become nuclear states. So, again, I think for the sake of our national security, our attention should be focused exclusively on isolating anybody who is developing or testing nuclear weapons to make sure that we keep the world safe for democracy and safe for American interests. And we do that through not testing, not by releasing the brake and opening up a free-for-all globally where people are testing these weapons.
For the others who are in our federal delegation, you have written about this and it has been alluded to in other articles, but tell us what is the thinking of the others? We have 3 other congressmen, we have 2 senators. What is their thinking on this?
I haven't had a chance to talk directly to the other members of the Utah delegation. I know I've had conversations with Senator Hatch. He's passionate about this. He was a leader in Utah, in RECA, the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, that helped so many Utahns receive compensation for the harm that was caused by our government. Senator Hatch, I applaud his leadership on this. And, we did have a success earlier this week, an amendment that I sponsored in the National Defense Bill that would prohibit the use of any dollars in the Pentagon budget for testing nuclear weapons or preparing a test site for nuclear weapons testing, a prohibition on that. So that's come out of the House. It passed the House with overwhelming support. It was bipartisan support. And so that's going over the Senate. Now, what I'm hoping is we can get it through the Senate, or at the very least neutralize and remove that Senate appropriation for test site preparation, that we stop any thoughts of going down that road again.
Here's just kind of a fundamental question. And you have alluded to Utah and the price that Utah paid, particularly for the above ground testing. We can even go into the uranium mining and other things that occurred here in the state of Utah. Is this kind of going back to the bad old days? Would the tests be in Nevada? We would hope certainly the downwind would be taken into consideration, but are they talking about new test sites or just using the old site in Nevada?
We haven't seen the Department of Defense talking specifically about that. My presumption is that it would be probably the Nevada test site. They would talk about underground testing, and certainly underground testing is better than the above ground testing that we saw. But, I did a press conference a couple of weeks ago when I announced that I was running this amendment to stop nuclear testing. And I had some pictures of the tests that were conducted in Utah at the time. And people said to me, now we conduct tests underground, they're safe. I want people to know that those tests of those big mushroom clouds, those were underground tests. And underground tests don't always stay underground. Depending on how close they are, how big the bomb is, what they're testing, you're going to see contamination come up into the air and then follow the wind. And so underground testing, it might be safer than above ground testing. It is not safe. I would not want to expose any people in Utah to be downwind from a test, whether it's underground or above ground.
Representative McAdams, I wish we had more time to chat. Thank you so much for joining us on Sunday Edition. We'll keep a close eye on this.
Thanks, Doug. Good to be with you.